Hi, my name is Christina Diaz Gonzalez, and I am the author of Invisible, illustrated by Gabriela Epstein. And it's a graphic novel about five Spanish speaking kids who consider themselves each very different. You have the athlete, the brain, the loner, the tough kid, the rich kid. And when they only concede their differences, the world really only sees them as a bunch of Spanish speaking kids. And through an event that happens in the book, we discover that the world begins to see each one's individuality and they start seeing each other's commonality. And the book is told in five different points of view from each child, each student. And one of the interesting things is as each one begins to speak, some of them are ESOL kids. So they don't really speak much English, if at all. And so you see a dual language book where anyone can read it, whether you speak English or Spanish. The pictures also help guide along the story. So I hope you enjoy reading and seeing part of Invisible. I came as soon as I heard. This is Mrs. Perico, the Spanish teacher. Have you started? Not yet. I need you to translate because some students don't speak much English. Sir? One moment. Un momento. Ready? Yep. I have several questions for each of them, but I don't speak any Spanish. That's fine. I speak English. Me too. But not everyone does. And we want to hear from all of you about what led up to the events that happened on the 18th. Sara, ¿qué dicen? Que nos van a hacer preguntas sobre lo que pasó el 18 de abril. What's she telling him? Just that you'll be asking them questions about April 18th. Okay, let's not waste any more time. I'm Tom Gimbel, and I'll be preparing the report. Can you each tell me your names? Sus nombres. Sara Dominguez, Dayara Gomez, Miguel Soto, Nico Peñeda, Jorge Rivera, but everyone calls me George. And I still don't understand what this is all about. What report? Oh, right. You don't know. Well, we're waiting for. Best not to say who we're waiting for. Not yet, anyway. It's all about timing, seeing how they'll react. We don't understand why we're here. Are we in trouble or something? Let's just say this is all about how the five of you conspired to do something that most ring. I'm sorry. What did you say? I couldn't hear. But you said that we conspired? Well, I hate to rush things, but the kids do need to get back to class after this period ends. So if you don't mind, oh, yes, of course. George, why don't you give me a little background? Have you all been friends long? Not really. Well, did you all come together because you're all mexicanos? Increíble. Parece que este tipo piensa que todos somos mexicanos. Incredible. This guy thinks we're all Mexican. Not all the same. I am dominicano. Y yo soy cubana. I am Mexican, venezolano, and I'm American, but also Puerto Rican. Okay, George, so explain to me, how did you all meet? Well, I guess it all started about 2 weeks ago. And that's how the book begins. And I hope you enjoy discovering what that mysterious event that occurs that gets them all brought into the principal's office and being asked all these questions. And now, next, you'll see a little bit of the art by the fabulous illustrator, Gabriela Epstein.
Hi, I am Gabriela Epstein. I am the illustrator of Invisible, the latest YA graphic novel to come out of Scholastic Graphics. It's both in English and Spanish, which is very, very cool. It's a book designed for Latino kids about Latino kids by two Latinx authors, which is pretty awesome. So today I'm gonna show y'all a bit of my process and how I draw the characters for this book. So hope you enjoy. I always start off with a thumbnail stage for every drawing we make for these comic books. Thumbnails are basically just rough sketches that give you an idea of the pose and the directionality of the figure, so you don't have to worry about that when you get to the inking stage, which is what I'm at now. Inking is just the term we use for the final clean black and white line art. And it's a bit of a misnomer because there is no ink here. That's the reason you don't see me drawing with a pencil or anything. These are all just my residual brush strokes from using Clip Studio. I just draw with my Apple Pencil on my Apple iPad, and I just use this program for pretty much everything. The entirety of the book was drawn in Clip Studio, and so is this drawing. So as you can see, with drawing George, it goes by pretty quick. I've drawn him so many times, hundreds of times in fact, and it never gets old. He's a fun guy. I got to design all the characters for this book, including him. He was the first one actually, since we tell this from his point of view. He's more of a nerdy kind of guy, wears lots of t-shirts to show which kind of video games and movies he likes. I think he'd be really into comic books and probably a big Steven Universe fan, which is why I gave him that Steven Universe star shirt. And a fun fact about his design, I gave him that little hair floof on top of his glasses because initially when I drew his glasses, I could never get them to line up properly and it was really bugging me. So I just put the hair floof on top, so as a kind of cheat, so I wouldn't have to keep drawing it again and again. And so now you can see once I finish the line art, I go ahead and just paint bucket in all of the colors. All the basic colors, I tone it a bit later to make sure they all match in value, but again, since I've done this so many times, it just flies by. And with George, you know, he tends to wear pretty colorful t-shirts. That's kind of who he is, so we wanted to make sure this is properly colorful. And at this point, once the colors are in, we just add in the highlights and he's good to go. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this.